Hey guys, my name is Mike Carleo, and this is my fourth installment on my How to Build Your Chops playlist. And today, I'm going to be speaking about trilling. Now, what is trilling? Trilling is a very important technique in which all guitarists need to learn. It helps us build our muscles when we're doing hammer-ons and pull-offs, and it also helps us create that attitude when we're doing that solo. So what a trill is anything from one note to another in a rapid motion. You can go as little as a half step, sometimes even in the same note, but that's usually used in a lot of wind instruments. But let's just keep it with guitar. So a half step, usually up to a minor third. We can go up to a major third, but that is not done too often. So what happens is you just go from one note to another, just really fast, for a duration of time. It was very popular in Western classical music, and it's also popular in Eastern music as well. So I'm going to be talking about ways in which we could start building these muscles, and it's going to help us with our hammer-ons and pull-offs to make them better and to make the dynamics louder when we want them to be. So let's get started. So let's get started with a great trilling exercise. Now, when you're trilling on the guitar, you're going to be trilling usually from the index finger to either one of these fingers, the pinky, the ring, or the middle. Some other times you can also trill to the second finger or the third finger. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that there's one finger that's above and one finger that's below. So in theory, you can really do one pair, another pair, this pair, all different types of stuff. So this exercise is going to utilize all of the fingers. So we're going to fret the little E string on the 5th fret, and we're going to start with our half step trill. So we're going to take our second finger, and we're going to just go as hard as we can and as fast as we can from back and forth. But before we start doing that, we want to start going very slowly to start building an evenness as well as good dynamics. So we're going to going to pick the first note to get a sound, and we're going to hammer on and pull off very rapidly. So. Now, it can only be so loud because one fret is not really too much of a distance to create a vibration. But it's very important to make sure that's very even and you're hammering on and pulling off nice and strong. So after you get used to that, you can start increasing the speed. So like I talked about in my last installment, when I'm hammering on, I'm slapping down into the fret, not pushing. And when I'm pulling off, I'm pulling down off the string. So after you do the half step, we're going to move to a whole step, but stay with the second finger, so the middle finger, and we're going to do the same thing. Okay, once you get used to that, then you're going to move to the third finger, but still stay a whole step away. So you're going to be fretting the 7th fret as well again. So you're going to start. And start increasing the speed. And then you're going to move your third finger up to a minor third away on the C, the 8th fret, and do the same thing. Then we're going to move to the pinky, the best finger out of them all. So I'm actually being sarcastic because it's our weakest finger. So do the same thing. Stay a minor third away. And then we're going to move to the major third to get that stretch, because we've been doing the stretches with the other one. So that is a very tiring exercise. So when we start practicing this, I don't recommend practicing any more than 5 to 10 minutes, because you're really going to start feeling some strain in not only your hand, but mostly your forearm, because that's where all the muscles come from to move your fingers. Not only the micro muscles in your fingers, but your forearm. So after you finish that string, you're going to want to move to all of the other strings. And when the strings get a little thicker, they're going to get a little harder. The top 3 strings on an electric guitar are not wounded, so that's going to be not too much more difficult than a little E string. But once you get to the rounded strings, that's when you start running into a little bit of a problems, and you have to try a little extra hard to be able to make those trills come out. Okay, so when you get down to the, say, the D string, you go all the way through all that type of stuff again. So, a couple things to note. The first thing is that you don't want to bend the string when you're trilling. You don't want to be pushing up with that first finger, and you don't want to be, when you get to the lower strings, because even though you're pulling down off the string, you don't necessarily want to bend the string. That's going to change the pitch, and it's going to mess up the trill itself. Okay? And then also, when you're trilling, you want to have the correct muting as well. Remember, when you're on the top strings, anything that's underneath, your right hand is going to mute whatever's underneath. And then when you're going to the bottom strings, that index finger is going to be muting the top strings. So we don't want any overtones to come out on any of the other strings. Okay, so that is the exercise for trilling. So this trilling exercise is going to be very, very tiring at first. But after a while, you're going to start developing those muscles in which you can create the best control, accuracy, and tone when trilling. Now this is going to bleed into our hammer-ons and pull-offs, and it's going to help develop our fluidity when we're soloing. So this is very, very important. Now another thing I want to note is that when you're practicing this trilling exercise, you do not want to use overdrive or distortion. That's going to take away from the pure sound in which you have a clean tone when you're doing this trilling exercise. You want to hear exactly what your mistakes are when you're doing the trilling, whether it's loud enough or not. When it's overdriven and distorted, you have a lot more signal and more gain, and it's going to be a lot easier to trill than if it was when you're doing a clean tone. So I always like to do the harder stuff first and then start moving into the overdrive and the distortion and have a lot more fun. So you develop a great technique and great foundation during that clean tone. And then when you start doing the crazy solos, you do all that crazy rock stuff at the end, it's going to sound great. So, if you'd like to get to learn about me more, you can check me out at my website below, michaelcarleo.com, for more information. Thanks for checking out this installment. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.